Okay, I'm going to start the live stream just a little bit early for those people on YouTube so they can get in. I know it's a little bit of a lag time, so we're going to start them about a minute early so they can get on. And when it comes at 11 o'clock, they will be all already on board. I don't know why YouTube is a little bit behind, but it is. So we'll just kind of wait for everybody to get in, and then we'll start the live stream. We have about another minute before we start that live stream up for everybody else. See who the first is going to be to come in the YouTube chat today. Everybody will get the early signal and they won't know what that means. Okay, here we go. We'll get everybody else in, get this going. Good morning, Jackie. How are you? I started you a little bit early so that YouTube people could get in. So we're just waiting now for good morning, Melody. How are you for Periscope and Facebook Live? Good morning, everybody. Good to see you. How was your evening? Hope everybody had a great night last night. Hi, Karen. How are you? Pretty good night. Good. Pretty good day today so far, right? Hi, everybody in Facebook Live. Good morning. Carrie from Maryland. Your hair looks really pretty today. Thank you. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. Hi, Mike. How are you? Good to see you. Good to see everybody in Periscope. If anybody in Periscope, if you would just swipe and invite, that would be appreciated. Hi, Philip. Good to see you. Hi, Puzzles. Good morning. Hi, Laura. Good to see you. Everybody's coming in. That's really good. Started YouTube just a little bit early so everybody could get in a little bit early. Good morning. Good morning. Hi, James. Good to see you. Glad that you're back. Glad that you're here. And everybody in Carrie, thank you for posting, Carrie. Everybody, if you would please just post, swipe and invite, as they say. You're in a better mood today. Is it a better mood or a better mode? You said modes. Hopefully they're the same thing when it comes to that. And I'm glad that you're in a better mood or mode. That's great. Either way, that's perfect. Good morning, everybody on Facebook Live. Hi, Amy. Good morning. Good to see you. Good to see you. None your business. None your business. James is both. Okay, that's good. Laura's joined us on both. Everybody in Periscope, please swipe and invite. Swipe and invite. You know, we have a limited time on Periscope because they're always kicking me out. It was so funny yesterday. I tried to contact the people at the help group on Periscope. I sent them an email with the address they told, it lists to send. And when I did that, it said, sorry, your email was not delivered. So I guess they're not getting the information either. So good morning, Tozen36. Please swipe and invite if you will. Bring more people in. That would be great. And then we'll get started. How everybody in Facebook Live? Good to see you. Kimberly, hi, good to see you. People that are in YouTube, please, if you would, just retweet. Let everybody know that we're here. LA Child, good to see you. Good morning. Good morning. All right, so let's get started, and we'll just wait for more people to come in, or perhaps they're not coming in today. We'll see what happens. All right, so another day of what? Yeah, I know. It's another day of a lot of what's. That's just the thing. Every day it seems to be just more information, more stuff coming at us, and nothing seems to get, to be too resolved. I did want to let you know, and you probably heard this already, that Rex Tillerson has arrived in Moscow. He's going to be meeting with the people there to talk about Syria. It's going to be the big topic, and perhaps other things are going to be talked about, but that's going to be the main topic, it looks like. And so we'll have to see where that goes. I know yesterday when I was listening to the press conference with Sean Spicer, it certainly seemed to be leaning toward regime change. I can't even say that's too early for me. Regime change. I don't know if that's true, but it was talk like that. Now, does that mean that we necessarily have to go to war with Syria to get Assad out? Maybe that's something that we're looking, if that's what we're going to do, that we would get Russia, try to get Russia on board to do that. And again, I don't know if we're going to get Russia on board because Russia is basically, they need Syria. We talked about that yesterday. So I don't know what we would promise Russia. Maybe there would be something we would promise them, that they would decide that it's time to turn against Assad. But at this point, I don't see that. So we'll see what happens. Um, Now, everybody heard about the shooting yesterday in San Bernardino at the elementary school. Really a sad, sad thing. Good morning, everybody. Please swipe and invite. Show the Putin is saying show the evidence. Yeah, you know, Terry, on that, uh, I guess now Turkey is coming out and saying after testing, they also feel that it was sarin gas. So at least we're getting more people on board to say that it was sarin gas. I would say, look at the history of Assad and what he's done with his people, and that he's done this before. Interesting that Yahoo is suppressing shooter's face. Yeah, isn't that interesting? You wonder who he is, why they would be doing that. I haven't seen a photo of the shooter's face. And allegedly, what happened in San Bernardino, this I guess this man whose wife was a teacher there at the elementary school, apparently, I don't know if they were having problems currently. It sure seems like you could assume that maybe. Good morning, Karen. How are you? But he went to the school. This is what's being reported. Went to the school and said that he needed to give something to his wife, and I think that was why it was so easy for him to get in and get to her room. I'm sure that practice is going to stop. Yes, it was domestic against his wife. He was abusive, and she left him. Yeah, he was. He had a history, according to the reports, of having weapons, a history of domestic violence, and possible drug charges. So, I mean, doesn't seem like a very good character. Unfortunately, he went to the school, killed her, and an 8-year-old that was standing behind the teacher, a special needs child, was also killed. And from as far as I know, the other child is in critical condition. Um, San Bernardino, the crime rate there is really. Oh, they'd only been married 3 months. Oh my gosh, that's terrible. The crime rate in San Bernardino is rising. It really is. Yeah, I guess Karen said, I guess divorce wasn't better than murder in her case. Yeah, it's just so sad. Yeah, the children standing behind her. I mean, and he obviously didn't care, and then turned the gun on himself after shooting her. But there's a lot of gang activity in San Bernardino. Don't know exactly what's going on, but the crime rate there is just starting to really increase. It's sort of an inland area, and it's near L.A. type thing. So I don't know. I think that this wasn't connected necessarily. It was just something that happened at the same time. Hi, Roswell. Good morning. Good morning, Carrie. Good to see you. Please swipe and invite if you will. That would be greatly appreciated. And if you want to join us on YouTube, that would be great. San Bernardino considered a slum, not a slum, but again, just it's a lot of people sort of in a smaller area, and like LA. LA's got a lot of crime too. Good morning, Carmen. Good to see you. So it's just one of those areas that's not really necessarily a big metropolitan area, though it's large enough. But it's not a place where most people would want to live. It's not a nice area. I used to live, yeah, like Newark, perhaps. Yeah, I don't know because I've never been to Newark. I don't really know, but I wouldn't want to live there myself. Hi, Jerry. Good to see you. Yeah, sometimes in these places in California, if they're too large like that, there's a lot of criminal activity going on there, and it's just not a good place to be in. So, good morning. Melody Quilt's joined again. Yeah, a lot of gangs, Roswell. I think so. Conwell, good to see you. So, that I guess I don't know why they're not showing the shooter. They're not. I haven't seen a photograph of the teacher either. So, or the child. I would not expect to see a picture of the child, but That would be totally up to the parents. You have seen them, okay? I just haven't seen it, so. And really, there's not too much being said locally about it. Hi, Huey. Good to see you. Please swipe and invite those people on Periscope. That'd be great. Please share in Facebook Live. Doesn't fit the narrative. Only, yeah. James, are you saying because he only married a short time, it doesn't fit the narrative? Yeah, it's horrible, Carmen. Yes, absolutely horrible. And I think uh, I'm not really sure about this, but in certain areas, school started back yesterday after the quote unquote spring break. We can't say Easter break, but spring break started back yesterday. And I think that's perhaps one of the schools that just started back. Uh, he's not a disgruntled Tea Party member or alt right. No, no. Why he would choose to do that at the school, I have no idea why choose that place on Monday. It started back here in Monday on Georgia. What was that, Roswell? What started back there on Monday? Oh, just bad news, or yeah, you can't say Easter break. Oh, the school. I see, Roswell. Thank you. Forgot that I had said that about the schools. Yeah. So the mayor said the schools would be closed for 2 days. Wow. So sad. So sad. I mean, it's one thing when somebody does something like that, it's just horrible in the lives that they impact. But those children who saw all of that is going to be just for the rest of their lives is going to be ruined. I mean, and God help the family of the woman that was shot and killed. Yeah, domestic violence. Yeah, situation gone wrong. It's just awful. Yes, those babies will carry that horror forever. They really absolutely will. And kids will need help, absolutely. And hopefully they'll get them in the school and elsewhere. But, and again, I don't know the severity of the special needs of the children there. It depends upon, what's going on, I guess, and how severe their disabilities are and how much they really could uh, see what was happening and understand what was happening. It seems like there is more to this story. Could be Asher. I don't know. I mean, I'm taking it on kind of like face value right now. With I haven't heard anything different. I mean, they did go to his home supposedly. I don't know what they found there at the house. Uh, it does sound like that he has been involved in domestic violence before and could have been that. I think some people were looking at it because it was Passover yesterday. I think, Philip, that it was domestic violence is what they're saying. Who knows? But that's what they're saying. And somebody I think was saying that she left him. So it's not unusual. Who's trying to leave him? Yeah, it's not unusual for people when they're in a situation like that, when they leave, that somebody comes after them and kills them. It's like if if I can't have you, nobody can type thing. It's really horrible. No angles for the MSM to exploit race, gender, sex change, etc. That's no interest. Yeah, exactly. And if he was anybody that was suspicious, we would never know about it probably. McDuder joined. Hi, McDuder. Good morning. Good to see you. Everybody, please swipe and invite if you will. Um, Now, this has been, I saw this just a little bit in the news, praying for this community. Yeah, absolutely, Asher. Pray for this country, because, again, I think more things like this are going on and we're probably not hearing about them, and more things are apt to go on as we find ourselves in, really precarious times with people, with a lot of violence being committed, a lot of lawlessness. So I think we're probably apt to see, more things like that happening, unfortunately. Yeah, it's not looking good. Not looking good at all. Um, I saw this morning where Adam, now this is going to shock you, and it's not. Um, oh, wow. Carmen, that's horrible. Carmen said she had a fiance that his thing was, like, if we can't live together, then we'll die together. That's when you know that you're with the wrong person. Hi, Janine. How are you? Good to see you. So I read this morning that Adam Schiff, now he is the co-chair of the House Intelligence Committee, has a long-standing relationship Yeah, I could try to do that sometime and do a scope about domestic violence sometime if people are really interested in knowing about that. Good morning, Cherry. How are you? But Adam Schiff has a long-standing relationship and receiving from donations from. Can anybody guess who would Adam Schiff receive donations from? Shifty Schiff. That's right. No, not the DNC, but the DNC probably gets donations there too. Yes, James got it over here. Let's see if anybody. Yes, there you go. George Soros. And I mean, again, it's always the left who is sitting there calling the right. It's like what a hypocrite. Is there a conflict of interest there when you're receiving money from George Soros and his organization, and not just a small amount, and not just yesterday? Hi, Loretta. Good to see you. But has been receiving money from that foundation for a very long time for his campaign and anything else that he's been doing. You get a signed Susan book. Oh gosh, James. Um, so isn't that interesting? Yes. Hate that guy. Get him out. Yes. Uh, who knows with Adam Schiff? I mean, again, the left does this all the time. How many people on the left don't get money from George Soros, and yet we don't really talk about it? Money truly is the root of all evil. Absolutely. Um, Weapons manufacturer did hold a campaign dinner at his home. Wow, that's surprising. I'd have to see who that was. Good morning. Yeah. So anyway, when he's sitting there talking about all the things that Devin Nunes did that he thinks is a conflict and how bad it was and this and that and the other. I mean, how ridiculous when you know that you've received money from George Soros, and that's been something that you've regularly done. Are you? No, we're not doing that on Wednesdays. We're not doing anything together. Putin threw out Soros. The chess pieces starting to make sense. Yeah, and who knows? I mean, I don't know if it's interesting because I think Soros he wants the United States to go down. Would do anything, would pay anybody to have that done, and so basically he could have very easily paid Russia to interfere with our elections. But again, if there was an interference, which Russia does all the time to every country that we possibly could think of, there wasn't. It didn't cause Donald Trump to be elected. It didn't cause Hillary to lose the election. That's all a farce when people start talking about that. Yeah, everybody who gets money from George Soros should be investigated. I absolutely agree. I mean, but here, Loretta, the one thing that is a problem, there are so many organizations that are linked to George Soros that it doesn't say this is the George Soros organization. It's like moveon.org. A lot of people looking at that wouldn't know that that was George Soros. I mean, some of these other organizations, you'd have to do. Hi, Word Smitter. How are you? Good morning. You'd have to do some investigation to find out if that really is George Soros. Hi, Michelle. Good to see you. So I think if people really looked, and I know some people have done that. I mean, a lot of people don't like Glenn Beck, but Glenn Beck during a couple of years back, he put together this entire couple of chalkboards about the organizations with George Soros, and I'll tell you, it would make your head spin. Good morning, Helen. How are you? Um, so there's a lot there to be said, and there's a lot there that was great. That was the first. That was the first. When Glenn Beck put that together, that was the first that I'd ever heard of George Soros and how deep he was in everything, and how he has taken down so many countries. Is being okay to invite her to join your video? That's really weird. It's a weird message on Facebook Live. Putin is the only leader that stands against the one world, or rather new world order. None of your business. That's why so many want to take Russia down. I don't know about that, but I'm not really sure. I know when you're looking at, again, sort of end times talk, that Russia is going to be one of the people coming in to take out Israel, right? So I don't know. Glenn Beck has totally changed everything that I've seen. He's no longer really focusing on politics and news. He's more about history and things of that nature. So it's been a total change. Soros says he likes to play God. I believe that. But is it population control? I mean, always if you're talking about globalists and elitists, it's always about population control. There's always that aspect of it. Hi, Nick. Good morning. Good to see you. So, we'll have to see how much more George Soros does. I mean, George Soros, you think like when George Soros is gone someday, I guess he's going to pass away someday. I mean, he's like older than the hills right now, but there will be people to carry on after him. It's like his money is going to keep going on and on and on, and it's kind of like who's going to be the next person to take up the fight, if you will. But he has. We continue to let him do things. Wow, I didn't see that, Jerry, but that wouldn't. We're going to bomb the capital. Well, I don't know. I haven't heard Russia say that we're going to bomb the capital, but yeah, his son, George Soros' son, yep. Though I don't think he's like George Soros so far, but I'm sure he doesn't fall far from the tree. Probably, his son is already doing his evil. Is he really? None of your business. Yeah, I don't follow him too much. He just looking at him, he doesn't seem to have that same demeanor anyway. Doesn't mean he's not as evil or whatever, but Weaponized Truth, good to see you. The question of the day, in my opinion, is will Trump challenge Russia to topple Assad? Are we planning to tackle North Korea and Syria at the same time? Yeah, we kind of talked about that at the beginning, Weaponized Truth. I was saying that I think, hi, Amy, good to see you. Hi, Bob, good morning. When we were talking about the presser that Sean Spicer gave yesterday, he did mention regime change. He said those words. Now, what I was saying in the beginning is, does that mean that we're going to go in and bomb and take Assad out, or are we going to try to influence Russia to do that? But what would we promise Russia in exchange for doing that? And are we planning to tackle North Korea and Syria at the same time? I would hope not. but I think that with North Korea, you don't know what they're going to do. I know they're already saying, we're going to come after America, that type of thing. Right? Hope Putin and Trump make a deal. Yeah. If we recognize Crimea, Putin will pull back on Syria. That's what Bob said. You have to recognize Crimea, and then Putin will pull back. What about? Yeah. Well, Nunya, that's a big question. What? Alex Soros was heavily invested in Hillary's campaign. Yeah, oh, absolutely. I don't know that there's any campaign, at least on the Democrat side, that isn't George Soros involved, and probably, who knows, some on the conservative side as well, on the right. I don't know about. I was going to say John McCain, but I have no proof of that. I'm just saying that. I would suspect John McCain, but I have absolutely no proof of that. Um, but it was interesting the other day when I was listening to or watching headlines, I guess, and some of these people on Periscope, they were saying that we were going to send 150,000 troops over to Syria. You may have read that. And it's really, really weird because, and there was a specific number that it was 150,000. And people were looking at that, I know, other than myself, and going, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of troops that you're saying that are being sent in there. And why 150,000, right? That's a number that sticks out in your mind. Well, somebody brought this up the other day, and I kind of looked into it. Supposedly now, China all of a sudden is sending 150,000 troops to the North Korean border. So I'm wondering if the person on Periscope got the news wrong, and it was really China, not the United States, that was doing that. And that's coming out of a Korean-run organization, like a news site or whatever, that's saying that about China. And what they're doing is that they're moving the troops over there with concerns that the refugees from North Korea may try to run into China, and of course they want to stop that. yeah, and it was funny because this person on Periscope that everybody follows, that gets a gazillion people following him, said that it was the United States, and people who heard that were at the time were saying that that was kind of impossible. It's a huge number. I mean, you can see that with China. They have that many people and more, right? They need an equivalent 9/11 to kick this off. Ugh. Crimea always belonged to Russia, and over a half of the Ukraine didn't want intervention into the country. They wanted to stay as part of Russia. That's what Nunya says. Uh, Nick is saying 150,000 troops moving to the North Korean border comes from the Kosan Korean Kosan newspaper. Yep, China, and again, I think that the person got that. Yeah, exactly. 150,000 is nothing for China. That's true. It would be a lot for the United States, and that's what the person was saying. That it was in the United States, and it was an unbelievable number. When I heard it, and other people were questioning that as well. And I think he kind of got the countries confused in a way there. So why it's always good to kind of check things out and kind of hang back. If something that you hear kind of doesn't sound right to you, chances are there's something wrong about it, and you should hold back a little bit before you say anything, because it's probably not uh, it's not what you think it is, or something is a little bit confused, or somebody's trying to sensationalize. That's kind of what I've been finding lately. Okay, so let's see what else. Um, there's been also a lot of talk lately, and I'm sure you've seen this. I mean, we can't leave Donald Trump alone for 1 second in the media doing military. I don't really I think he's said some pretty interesting things. There's some things that I've heard I've been impressed with, but I don't really follow him. This is a question about Bill Mitchell. If he invited me on his show, I would go on his show. So seems to be a conservative and cares about what's going on. Is it submarine spotted in California? Still waiting for confirmation on that. Bill Mitchell is more almost and level. Oh, level headed. Yeah. And somebody else said that he's a douchebag moron. Okay, so, oh my God. Thank you, Philip. Uh, yeah, I think everybody, pretty much has their own opinions about people. So they're playing that they appear to be looking for submarine. And they're always looking, the Russia, we always have Russia off a coast of somewhere, right? Bill is clueless. Okay, he's no moron. Yeah, I don't know. As I said, I haven't really watched him, so I can't give you an opinion. Maybe I'll go watch him once and tell you what I think, but I haven't really. Oh, not. Now you say submarines, planes. I mean, yeah. Who knows? Who knows? He's being very staunch in his support of Trump. Russia, that Putin is. Are you saying, Nunya? None your business. Right view, good to see you. Yeah, Blue Spectrum. Hi, how are you? Another day closer to whatever. That's true. One step closer. That's true. Let's see now. What I was saying about was Trump, that people just can't leave him alone. There's always something, no matter what he does. We've got to say something, and he right now we're kind of attacking him. We being the mainstream media is attacking him because he spent already $20 million going back and forth to Mar-a-Lago, and so there's a complaint is that um, this is a really bad thing because Obama only spent 97 million in 8 years. So Trump is outspending him if he keeps up at this pace. So again, I mean my eyes roll back in my head when I think about $97 million in 8 years, and that's a lot of money. And that probably wasn't everything. And I think with Donald Trump, I mean, supposedly this is not going to be an everyday occurrence. When his son and his wife move into the White House, I would think that a lot of this travel will be stopped. Yeah, why doesn't the U.S. government sell Camp David? No one goes there anymore. I know. Yeah, you might as well because people don't go there. Uh, yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, it's true. I guess that because Trump did say something about Obama and about his spending, about him playing golf, and so now they're going to turn around and do the same thing. Did Obama just spend 96 million? That yeah, they were never in the White House. Let's see. Stop the stupidity that all work for the same people. Israel has USA by the testicles. Wow, that's some strong talk there. Um, 50 times hard. Yeah, I mean, Trump, listen, we all know this. He's accomplished more in less than 100 days than Obama did in an entire 8 years. So, I think that I'm not too concerned about him going back and forth, although I would like for him to, be more in the White House, stay in the White House, maybe not take so many trips to Mar-a-Lago. But if he's going there on business too, then I don't really see um, the kids moving into the White House unnerves you. Well, which kids? The adult kids or Barron? I guess would be the question. White House is not so secure. Yeah, I know. I'm talking about the language, cyber voyager, that you used. That's what I'm talking about. Loretta Finley, he does business there. Obama played golf. Yeah, you're right. Because how many times have we met with, the presidents in Mar-a-Lago? Gets more done. Well, and he's met a lot of people. I mean, he talked to Rand Paul. Yeah, I don't think Trump is a puppet, but I mean, I don't know what reason you think that Trump is a puppet. So the power kids. Oh, well, I mean, none of your business whether they're in the White House or just someplace else. I mean, they are. We already know that there is an influence on President Trump by his daughter and his son-in-law. So it doesn't matter if they're in the White House or not. They're going to influence him. He can pick up a phone just as easily. And, all this talk about Trump being a puppet. Again, 5 minutes before Syria, Trump wasn't a puppet. 5 minutes after Syria, Trump's a puppet. So you have to ask yourself what changed. No, I don't think so. Israel is not our enemy. Well, yeah, we would like to close the borders, LA child, but we're not being allowed to close the borders because of the fact that, um, sorry, I had to get rid of that person. He was just, I think he wanted attention, and so I'm just giving him attention to go someplace else. Um, feel safer at Mar-a-Lago. Spent a lot of money time in West Palm Beach. Yeah. He was a Voyager. Yeah, he's a Voyager. He needed to go on to another voyage because he hated Donald Trump too much and hated Israel too much. And Israel is our friend, and I do stand with Israel. And so if you're going to come in and talk bad about Israel, you're going to leave. And Donald Trump, if you do that, is going to leave as well. So, good morning, Jeremy. Good to see you. I don't mind people having an opinion, but when you're saying it over and over and over again and the same thing and no facts, it's kind of disruptive. And so, yeah, you're welcome. Ellie Child, the thing of it is, we get. I'm glad you brought that up. You're talking about the money that is spent on Israel. I also want you to know that we spend money other places that perhaps oh, okay, so he's the person. Jerry said that. Okay. um, there's other places that we spend money to that we should stop sending money to. For example, we send money to Pakistan, Afghanistan, Yemen, and Syria. These are all people that harbor terrorists. Why are we spending money and sending money to those places? And over the last 4 years, we have sent $8.5 billion to those places. So why are we doing that? If you're going to trust people, wouldn't family usually be the people that you trust most? I don't know. I don't see the big deal. Hi, Susan. Good to see you this morning. Um, yeah, I mean, I again getting back to the Mar-a-Lago thing, I don't have problems with that. We definitely should stand with Israel. Absolutely, Carmen. Israel is God's chosen people. It doesn't mean that everything Israel does is perfect. They're still people just like we are, and we're not perfect. But all in all, you know, as a Christian, you're supposed to stand with Israel and God's chosen people. But again, that doesn't mean that you openly accept everything that's done. And I mean, if we're sending all that money to Israel, what are we sending it there for? And I know that Roswell has a or LA Child has a question about it. It is a lot of money. And LA Child, I would say this, that I don't know that Israel so much needs our money. They're in a lot of respects doing a lot better than we are. We need to help the Syrian rebels. Well, the Joe Motion Mosapien, the Joe Mosapien. Oh God, these names, I swear. I'll just call you Joe. I don't know what we should do in that regard. God says to the Jew first, and then also to the Gentile. Romans, yes. Defense and research. It does take a lot of money, and we get benefits from Israel as well. So I think it's mutual. But again, they seem to have a lot more advanced technologies and different things than we do. So I think they're doing pretty well. I don't necessarily know that they need all the money. Maybe we could look and see how much money is, and if we could, calm it down. Hi, Yeshua. Good to see you. Yeah, we should, shouldn't we? Because we overthrew their country. Yeah, the talk over. Let's see. Maybe we have them invest for us. Again, Ella Child, I think there are a lot of things that they give us that we probably don't know about, or there's an exchange of things that are not being told. Hi, Donald. Good morning. Why would Rand? Why? So let's see. The question is, why is Rand Paul basically sucking up to Donald Trump? I don't know that he is sucking up to Donald Trump. I know he played golf with him. He wanted to get his information about health care out, felt that he wasn't being heard. And I think he got the opportunity to talk about it on the golf course and felt that we were getting closer to a deal as far as health care is concerned. We should not overthrow Syria. Was started a while back, and our government still wants to run the oil pipelines our way. That's what None Your Business is saying. With Syria, again, I think if we're going to go in there, which we're already there, again, let me remind you, we've been in there for 7 years, so we're not going into Syria. We're trying to finish the job and get out of Syria. I think that's more appropriate to say. So, how do we do that? Do we do that with a regime change? I never like a regime change in the Middle East. I don't think that's something that we should involve ourselves in. Um, but unfortunately, what has happened is because the last administration didn't do what they said they were going to do, we find ourselves in this position where we have a person who is doing things like chemical weapons, gassing their own people. And I know people are saying, "Well, did he really do that?" I don't know if he really did it this time. If you wanna say he didn't really do it this time, he's done it 40 times more. So, um, do we need if we take him out, who do we replace him with? And I don't know of who you would replace him with. That's the problem. See, my fear, Jerry, my concern is, I guess too, is that if that happened, I could see Russia trying to move in there and take that over. And as Philip said, ISIS could take that over. And if you either one of them would be a bad thing. Well, LA Child said it's starting to feel Vietnamish. It's been Vietnamish for the past 7 years. We just haven't talked about it until now. And it's almost kind of like now we're looking at it and trying to pin this on Trump. And this Trump didn't start this. I think Trump should somehow finish it. What that means, I'm not sure at this point. But he didn't start it. Yeah, no more sweeping under the rug time. Yeah, I mean, I think that if Obama had done what he said he was going to 8 years ago, we wouldn't be in this position. Israel may work want it. I don't know about that. I don't think the people, all the people that are in Syria, I don't think they would appreciate an Israeli government taking over all of Syria. And we were supposed to, I guess, arm the rebels before, and then we were supposed to take out ISIS. But here's the question: we armed those rebels to take out ISIS, and they killed Christians. So do we say, okay, well now let's go back and do more things with the rebels? I, I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Donald Trump was left a mess. He certainly was, Loretta. He really was. And I think, some people might say, well, why is it right now? Why is he? Yeah, Sunnis under Jewish rule won't work. You're right. It's not going to work. But why is this all of a sudden happening? And I think it all came to a head because of the fact of the gassing of the children, and that's why it all came to a head. So, and that's why we're having to look at it now, because the red line that had been drawn and crossed over so many times, Trump said, I'm not going to do that. Good morning, Robert. Good to see you. Well, I don't think Israel needs Syrians' oil because Israel occupies Golan Heights, and they have all the natural gas and oil that they could ever want. The path of least resistance is to march out of Syria. Perhaps the Russians will take care of ISIS this time around. Ground troops would be needed, and citizenry has war fatigue. The whole thing started to remove Assad and plunder the country. I mean, if we leave Syria right now, I think that you're just going to see more people with chemical gas and everything else. Hopefully, Russia can pat Assad on the head and calm him down. Yeah, that would be nice. We'll see. But again, we're between a rock and a hard place right now. We're no matter what we do, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be something that everybody looks at and says, "Oh, this is great. Glad you did that." So we were told us back in the early 2000s. Yeah. Good morning, Robert. As I said, if you do any research on the Golan Heights, and I do have an article on my SusanKnowles.com that I've written about the Golan Heights. I mean, we have interest in the Golan Heights as well. We have we have all of this history with Israel, but Israel has the Golan Heights, and that again that has more gas and oil than probably would ever be spent in a lifetime. Cuernavaca, Syria has a nice ring to it. Puzzles, 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 puzzles. What was being said about Israel? I think people were just saying that Israel wanted to, take over the oil in Syria, and then, I they already have enough. They don't need to go doing that. And also people were suggesting that maybe Israel would take Assad's place when Assad left. Yeah, Mike Kramer said we know things are okay as long as CNN does not like what's going on. President Trump better take a long, hard look at the Syrian situation, according to Philip. Yeah, and I think they are. What about Whoopi? I don't know anything about Whoopi. Thankfully, I don't watch The View or hear anything. Tell me what it is. Tell me what she said this time. Yeah, I think that with this whole Syrian thing, we'll have to we'll have to see what's going to happen. I mean, are we going to move quickly? Are we going to go to Congress? Are we going to go in and take Assad out by force? Are we going to get Russia to do it? I don't know. Oh, Donald Jr. told her to leave the USA. Well, he probably said leave the USA if you don't like what you see. I mean, who knows? She's still relevant. I know. Why is the View still on? I can't understand that. Yeah, well, I don't know who that moderate leader would be. Hi, Robin. Good morning. I don't know who that moderate leader would be, and that's the thing. If you replace one person with another, uh, and they're not strong enough, or they're not the person that you thought they were, then you've destabilized the Middle East, and I think we've done that far too long. We've done that so many times under Obama, and I don't think it was the thing to do. And I think it's not our region. It's not our people. It's not our culture. On and on and on. And I don't think that we should be in there. 15 years, millions spent in where, Philip? Oh, in Iraq. Yeah. So, and we still have troops in these places. So, let's stop doing that. And stop going into play. Again, we have to remember this is Donald Trump did not go into Syria. This was Obama, and it's been 7 years that we've been in Syria, and we're still there, and we still didn't accomplish what we went in there for. ISIS launched borders, Golan Heights, Israel strikes, Syrian government scam. Well, I know that I read yesterday that rockets were fired, missiles were fired into Israel yesterday by, I think, by ISIS, and it was Passover. So I mean, Blue Monkey, are you saying that ISIS is launching mortars is not true? So and we know that as we've talked about before with Isaiah 17, there is going to be the Damascus is going to be blown off the face of the map, basically. Donald says we bet on the wrong horses so many times. America has a gambling addiction. I think we pull all troops home and leave them all alone, just keeping them out of the U.S. None of your business. Well, the argument is none of your business that we've always heard over and over, that we've got to take care and take out ISIS over there so they don't come here. We have great issues in that. I mean, we've already let these people in. As I told you yesterday, we're continuing to allow refugees in that we're not properly vetting. The State Department already said under Obama that they weren't properly vetting these people, and still we're letting them in. Yeah, and the reason it looks like Karen. I can't see if that's an S or an N, but yeah, the reason that Damascus is going to be a ruinous heap is because the Bible says that in Isaiah 17. So it will be, and there's going to be uh, I guess fact-based information that comes out more and more that supposedly the reason we didn't find weapons of mass destruction in Iraq is because they were already moved to Syria, or already moved over there into Damascus, and it's there. So Damascus is pretty much rubble right now, but not as a total ruinous heap. Oh, Kares, Kares. Keep Assad in. Yeah. Robert, I mean, right now, looking at it, I think one of the things that Donald Trump is trying to do is saying, Assad, you can stay in as long as you're not gassing your people. When you if you start gassing your people again, after what just the other day, then you're going to go. And so, he's been told that if you cross the red line, we're coming to get you. He crossed the red line. We came and got him. We took out the airfield anyway, and I guess sent a warning that if you do it again, then you're gone. So he should learn from that. I don't know if he will. I mean, if I think he's proven to himself, Donald Trump has proven that he's going to do what he says in that regard. So I think it's up to, in a lot of respects, up to Assad what happens at this point. But who knows? I also think that, in talking with the ambassadors and the officials in Russia and Moscow, where Rex Tillerson is right now, I think we'll know. Maybe we'll know. We may never hear, but I think we'll know more about kind of what the United States may be planning to do, depending upon how those meetings come out. But again, I can't foresee us knowing that. Well, none of your business. You're saying that he didn't gas those people. I don't know. I mean, he's done it 40 times before. It's kind of like one of the best predictors of future behavior is past behavior. If you've done something 40 times, it doesn't prove that you did do it, but it also proves that there's a great likelihood that you did do it because of based upon your past behavior. And if he didn't do it, are you saying that ISIS did it? Yeah, it was confirmed in Turkey anyway after testing that it was sarin gas. I still have a lot of people, though, who just do not believe that it was sarin gas. No, Tillerson is already in Moscow. So, I mean, I don't know if I guess people are saying, well, the rebels gassed them to make it look like it was Assad. Who knows? And again, that's another reason, a good reason why we shouldn't be, in another country and dealing with things, because of the fact that we don't know all the inner workings and what's going on. We're just a lot of this, we do have intelligence, but the gas bill. Oh, that's really awful. Um, we just have the intelligence that we have, and Israel intelligence. Well, none of your business. I don't know. I mean, there's a man that I follow over there who is Israeli. He's been a part of the military in Israel. Still has contacts, and according to what he learned and what he passed on to everybody else, he even knows the name of the pilot who did the gassing. So, um, I think that, I mean, I tend to believe I've watched him for about, I don't know, 2 years or more, and he's been pretty accurate. He's not 100% accurate, of course. Um, yeah, Amir Sarfati said that they have satellite footage of the planes being loaded with gas and the name of the pilot. Absolutely. So, again, you either have to believe that everybody's lying and everybody's in cahoots, or somebody's got the story straight. Yeah, I mean, somebody was saying to me, and I've never seen, thankfully, nerve gas used on somebody, but they were saying with sarin gas that you would be bleeding from your eyes and your ears and your nose and all that. So I don't know. I know with regular tear gas, that's exactly what happens. I don't. It would make sense there would be blood coming out of those areas just because of the nerves and what's being destroyed inside your body and all of uh, your organs, but I don't know. Yeah, LHL, that's what people are saying. And they're also saying that, yeah, the body basically dissolves from within. And they're also saying that if people touched those people, they would be impacted. So I don't know. When we saw the pictures of the babies and people trying to put water on them and all like that, uh, I didn't see any of that. So I don't know. But again, I'm not an expert in what that looks like or anything else. So I just don't know. And I don't know if the people who touched him later were impacted and died as well. I don't know that. I just don't know. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes if you're just breathing that air. Yeah, it didn't see gloves. I didn't either, puzzles. And I don't think the people that were dealing with the babies really thought about using gloves at that time. We get lied to all the time, and false flags get shown to us all the time. Why consider this differently? Probably none of your business, just because of the intel that's coming out of Israel and the people that that I just mentioned, the person that I just mentioned. That would be kind of more why I believe what happened. Get a drop on you like a basic, then get hit with atropine injector in the thigh. It's all diversion. Well, it could be. I mean, it very well could be. It's been a diversion for 7 years, so I don't know. One more diversion. Yeah, and it's like I said, I went through tear gas training, and I had training with CS tear gas and CN, and those are very harsh. I mean, I can't even imagine what you would look like if you were going through this sarin gas. Oh my God. We don't have. Loretta said we don't have the intelligence that the president has the privilege to see. Are any new bills about to be passed on around San Bernardino? I doubt it. None of your business. Yeah, we're not. The only bill that they would pass is, perhaps if they would take more guns away from people in California. That would be about it. They certainly wouldn't say, "Oh, okay, now in light of what happened, everybody can carry a gun or concealed weapon." Looked more like a chlorine gas attack. Yeah, Don, and it's funny because again, Syria, and if you can trust Syria, I don't know, but Syria did some testing. I guess they wanted to see for themselves, and they said that it was sarin gas. So I really don't know what the case is there, and maybe it was a combination of both. Yeah, that's why you trust Donald Trump, not just your own understanding. I mean, again, I've never been a person who sits here and go, oh, I believe everything my government tells me. I don't. I don't care what president is in charge. I don't 100% believe everything that they say. Uh, but that's why I kind of want to go and look at things myself and see and not just say, oh, yeah, this is absolutely what happened. I want to check it out myself and listen to other people and try to put the speculation to rest, but and gather information. Yeah. Again, but I don't know this either. Is sarin gas, can you dilute sarin gas? Does sarin gas ever lose its potency? See, again, I don't know. I'm not an expert in that type of thing. I don't know if there was some way that they use it for water purification. Okay. Off to meeting. Enjoy the show. Thank you, James. So glad that you came in. Have a good day. Um, I think there's some things like that we don't know about that. Maybe there was a way to dilute it or to, whether it's been there a long time and it starts to lose its potency. I don't know. Yeah, Asher, you heard it was chlorine. That makes sense too. But two now have said. I think the U.S. and Turkey both said it was sarin. So again, I don't know what to make of that. Either we're being lied to by Turkey and the United States. Yeah, LA Child. I would tend to think that it could be a mixture, honestly, or that it was, you know, somehow diluted. In either event, people died. I don't think that was all made up. So I know sometimes we look at the bodies and we say, oh well, that's just done for the camera. That those people didn't really die. So I don't know. Yeah, you're right, Jackie. If ISIS did it, they would claim it. They come out and do it all the time. When they killed the Coptic Christians in Egypt, they were more than happy to say they did it. All are prepackaged. Okay. Yeah. So, maybe this mystery of who did it. I still tend to think that Assad had something to do it because of the past behaviors of killing all of his people that he did over the 40 times. Oh wow. And what was that, Carmen? What were the effects? Ursarin. And in any event, you got to know that if you've ever watched somebody being attacked by just regular tear gas and sarin gas or anything like that, it's going to have to be amazingly horrific. Let's just put it that way. I mean, that's probably all you really need to know. Hi, Sherry. Good morning. Good to see you. Foaming at the mouth. Yeah. Yeah, I know when I went through the CS tear gas, the noses were running, the ears, the eyes, they were coughing, they were choking. All except for me, and I have to say I'm part of the population that I have no idea why, but the CS tear gas had no effect on me, which is just odd. So, good morning. I'm sure that sarin gas wouldn't be the same. So, but anyway, anybody have any quick questions or anything that they want to say before we go? Beginning of bleeding of eyes, nose, and body restrict. Oh yeah, it's got to be horrible. Aerosol has to go off at a set height. It's not a bomb, huh? On the sarin, you're saying the aerosol type things. Susan is a super soldier. No, weaponized truth. Let me tell you something. Perfume affects me. Sarin, the CS gas, CS tear gas, no effect. Perfume takes me out. Assad also bombed the same village after he gassed it. Yeah. Are there any new bills trying to be passed in the San Bernardino area? Anything related to guns, domestic violence, or anything? It's too early, probably, Nunya, business right now to see what they might do. Um, you know, we're not allowed to carry guns and stuff. It's not a it's a gun free zone, so I don't know what else they would do. I mean, they're not going to allow us to all of a sudden say, okay, well, you can carry guns now to protect yourself. It's not going to happen because they feel that guns are absolutely the problem, and they would, if nothing else, they would claim yesterday that that was because the gun did it, not that the guy pulled the trigger on the gun or got the gun some other way, but it's just the way California is. You have to have fingerprints now, I think, to get certain, maybe all bullets. I don't know. I think that was supposed to go into effect. There's so many laws that are passed every day in California. It's hard to know what the flavor of the week is, to be honest with you. They do the most ridiculous stuff here, and all in the name of what they just raised, like for gas taxes, went 12 cents, went up 12 cents a gallon. A local channel showed folks calling for something more to be done about domestic violence. Yeah, Sherry was saying that. And what more can you do about domestic violence rather than to lock these people up, get them therapy, on and on. I mean, what else could you do? Bans women. Okay. Voter ID was shot down in Texas for the second time. Well, Loretta, in California, you don't show anything. You have no, you just walk in there. A lot of times you can take your voter booklet and say, here I am, and you get to vote. Recommend following Grindle 61 on YouTube for the latest in California laws. Yeah. Now, hopefully you can keep up, because right now they're saying that 12 cents on the gas tax is going to be used for the roads, but there's already provisions in there that says that money can't be used for the roads. So, you talk about people lying to you. It's amazing. Well, I'm going to have to go now because I have another show in an hour. And if you feel up to it, God's Views on Political News is coming on Facebook Live in an hour. All you have to do is just go to Facebook, look for God's Views on Political News page, and you will see this show live there with my co-host Bill Cloud. Bill knows the Bible inside and out, and well-respected man. So hopefully you can see that, and if not, maybe wait for it later, and I'll have it up on my website. You won't get to see the comments or anything or participate, but you'll at least get to see those comments. So, Carmen, all it is, yeah, if you just go to SusanKnowles.com, just scroll down and look for God's Views on Political News, you will just click on links I have in there, and it will take you right to the page that you need to be on, and it starts at 1 o'clock Eastern. So thank you guys for coming here today. Thank you, Puzzles. And thanks, everybody, for being in YouTube, Periscope, and Facebook Live. We actually made it through Periscope without getting kicked off. There's something new happening every day. What miracles that we see every day when Periscope lets you stay. So anyway, you guys take care. I will see you again tomorrow. Have a good day.